The unexpected champion. In the vast expanse of the Galactic Federation, where countless alien species coexisted in an uneasy peace, the annual intergalactic combat tournament stood as a testament to power and dominance. Held on the neutral planet of Zenith 9, the tournament drew warriors from every corner of the galaxy, each vying for the coveted title of Grand Champion and the political influence that came with it. As the twin suns of Zenith 9 rose over the horizon, casting an eerie purple glow across the landscape, the massive arena at the heart of the capital city began to fill with spectators. Beings of all shapes and sizes, from towering Kraxan warriors to the diminutive Zephyrians, filed into their seats, their excited chatter creating a cacophony that echoed through the streets. At the center of the arena stood Zix, a Terran representative barely reaching 5 feet in height. His presence drew curious glances and mocking laughter from the alien crowd. The Terrans, a relatively new addition to the Galactic Federation, were largely unknown and often underestimated due to their unassuming appearance. "Look at that puny creature," sneered Gruk, a hulking Vraxian with rippling muscles and razor-sharp claws. "Did they send us a child to fight?" The laughter grew louder as more aliens noticed Zix's small stature. Even the tournament officials exchanged bemused glances, wondering if there had been some mistake in the registration process. Zix, however, remained calm and focused. His deep brown eyes scanned the arena, taking in every detail of his surroundings. He had trained for this moment for years, honing his body and mind under the guidance of Earth's finest martial artists and strategists. As the opening ceremony began, holographic displays flickered to life around the arena, showcasing the contestants from various worlds. Zix's image appeared alongside the others, dwarfed by the imposing figures of his alien competitors. "Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all designations," boomed the announcer's voice, translated simultaneously into hundreds of languages. "Welcome to the 127th Intergalactic Combat Tournament. This year, we have a record number of participants, including representatives from newly inducted Federation members. May the strongest warrior prevail." The crowd roared with excitement, but their cheers quickly turned to jeers as Zix stepped forward for his introduction. He raised his hand in a gesture of respect, his face a mask of determination. "Representing Earth, we have Zix," the announcer stated, a note of confusion in his voice. Good luck, little one." More laughter erupted from the stands, but Zix paid it no mind. He knew that underestimation would be his greatest advantage in the battles to come. As the first round of matches was announced, Zix found himself pitted against Krognar, a fearsome Taurian known for his brute strength and short temper. The two contestants made their way to the central platform, the disparity in their sizes even more apparent as they stood face to face. Krognar towered over Zix, his muscular frame casting a shadow that engulfed the human entirely. The Taurian's eyes narrowed as he looked down at his opponent, a mixture of amusement and disdain evident in his expression. "I will try not to break you too quickly, little one," Krognar rumbled, his voice a deep bass that seemed to vibrate the very air around them. Zix merely nodded, settling into a defensive stance as the match began. The crowd leaned forward in anticipation, many expecting the fight to be over in seconds. Krognar charged forward with a roar, his massive fists swinging in a wide arc aimed at Zix's head. But at the last moment, Zix ducked and rolled, using his small size to his advantage. The Taurian's momentum carried him forward, leaving him momentarily off balance. Seizing the opportunity, Zix sprang into action. With lightning-fast movements, he delivered a series of precise strikes to Krognar's joints, targeting pressure points that few in the galaxy knew existed in Taurian physiology. The crowd gasped as Krognar stumbled, his movements suddenly sluggish and uncoordinated. Zix continued his assault, weaving in and out of the Taurian's reach, each strike carefully calculated to maximize impact while minimizing energy expenditure. As the match progressed, the jeers from the crowd slowly gave way to murmurs of surprise and grudging admiration. Zix moved with a grace and precision that belied his small stature, his fighting style a perfect blend of Earth's martial arts adapted for interspecies combat. Krognar, growing increasingly frustrated, let out a bellow of rage and charged once more, but Zix was ready. With a move that left the audience stunned, he used the Taurian's own momentum against him, redirecting his charge and sending him crashing into the energy barrier surrounding the platform. The impact was thunderous, and Krognar slumped to the ground, dazed and defeated. A hush fell over the arena as the reality of what had just transpired sank in. "Unbelievable," the announcer shouted, breaking the silence. "In a stunning upset, Zix of Earth has defeated Krognar the Taurian. This is unprecedented in tournament history." As Zix helped his fallen opponent to his feet, a gesture of respect that did not go unnoticed, the crowd's reaction was mixed. Some cheered for the underdog's victory, while others muttered in disbelief and suspicion. Grok, the Vraxian who had mocked Zix earlier, watched from the sidelines with narrowed eyes. "There's more to this human than meets the eye," he growled to his companions. "We must be cautious." As Zix made his way back to the contestants' area, he could feel the weight of countless alien gazes upon him. He had made a statement with his victory, but he knew this was only the beginning. The real challenges lay ahead, and he would need every ounce of skill and strategy to survive the tournaments to come. Little did the aliens know that Zix's performance was just a glimpse of humanity's potential. As news of his victory spread across the galaxy, it would set in motion a chain of events that would forever change the balance of power in the Galactic Federation. For now, though, Zix allowed himself a small smile. The first battle was won, but the war for recognition and respect had only just begun. And somewhere out there, watching the broadcast with pride, was the one person who believed in him when no one else did, his human mentor, whose arrival would soon shake the very foundations of the galaxy. A human's arrival. As news of Zix's unexpected victory spread throughout the galaxy, the atmosphere in the great arena of Zenith 9 crackled with tension and anticipation. Aliens from countless worlds huddled together, their conversations a mix of disbelief, curiosity, and in some cases, fear. The idea that a small, seemingly insignificant human could defeat a Taurian warrior had shaken many long-held beliefs about the hierarchy of strength in the galaxy. Amidst this charged environment, a sleek interstellar shuttle pierced the upper atmosphere of Zenith 9, its hull gleaming in the light of the twin suns. As it descended towards the spaceport adjacent to the arena, many eyes turned skyward, wondering who this late arrival could be. The shuttle touched down with barely a whisper, its advanced human technology a stark contrast to the more brutish designs favored by many alien races. As the boarding ramp lowered, a hush fell over the gathered crowd of spectators and officials. From within the shuttle emerged a figure that caused even more of a stir than Zix had. Captain Sarah Chen, decorated veteran of Earth's Space Force and renowned martial arts master, stepped onto the alien soil with confidence and grace. Her presence was magnetic, drawing the attention of every being in the vicinity. Standing at an impressive 6 feet tall, with short black hair and piercing green eyes, Sarah cut an imposing figure despite being dwarfed by many of the alien species present. She wore a sleek, dark blue uniform adorned with subtle insignias that spoke of her accomplishments to those who knew how to read them. As Sarah made her way towards the arena, whispers followed in her wake. Another human. Is this their leader? She walks like a warrior. The tournament officials scrambled to greet her, a mix of curiosity and wariness in their multifaceted eyes. A Zephyrian administrator, his translucent wings fluttering nervously, approached Sarah. "Welcome to Zenith 9, human," he buzzed, his translator struggling to convey the proper tone. "We were not informed of another Earth representative. Are you here to compete?" Sarah smiled, a gesture that seemed to both reassure and unsettle those around her. "No, I'm not here to compete," she replied, her voice calm but carrying an undercurrent of strength. "I'm here as Zix's mentor and Earth's official observer for the tournament." This declaration sent a ripple through the crowd. The idea that the small human who had defeated Krognar had a mentor, and one who exuded such an aura of power, was almost too much to process. As Sarah was escorted into the arena, she caught sight of Zix, who was preparing for his next match. Their eyes met, and a silent communication passed between them. Zix straightened, a renewed determination visible in his stance. In the VIP section of the arena, representatives from various galactic powers watched Sarah's arrival with keen interest. Among them was Ambassador Xarlok of the Vraxian Empire, his scales shifting colors in agitation. "This changes things," he muttered to his aide. "One human defeating Krognar could be dismissed as luck. But if they have more like this—" He gestured towards Sarah. "We may need to reevaluate our stance on Earth's position in the Federation." As Sarah took her seat in the observer's box, she became aware of the multitude of alien gazes fixed upon her. She met each look with calm assurance, her years of diplomatic training serving her well in this tense environment. Meanwhile, on the arena floor, Zix was preparing to face his next opponent, a lithe, serpentine creature named Ciliax from the swamp world of Net 5. Unlike Krognar, Ciliax had watched Zix's previous match and was not about to underestimate the small human. As the two contestants faced each other, Ciliax's forked tongue flicked out, tasting the air. "I see you, little one," he hissed, his words translating with a sibilant quality. "Your tricks won't work on me." Zix remained silent, his eyes focused and his body relaxed yet ready. He knew that each opponent would bring new challenges, and he couldn't rely on the element of surprise anymore. The match began, and immediately it was clear that this fight would be very different from the last. Ciliax moved with incredible speed, his flexible body allowing him to attack from multiple angles at once. Zix found himself on the defensive, dodging and weaving to avoid the creature's strikes. In the observer's box, Sarah watched intently, her expression giving nothing away. But those seated near her could sense the intensity of her focus, as if she were in the arena herself, moving with every step Zix took. As the match progressed, it became apparent that Zix was struggling. Ciliax's speed and unpredictable movements were proving difficult to counter, and several blows had landed, leaving Zix visibly winded. The crowd, which had been somewhat subdued since Zix's first victory, began to grow louder, many cheering for Ciliax to finish off the human upstart. Ambassador Xarlok allowed himself a small smile, believing that the natural order was about to be restored. But then something changed. Zix, who had been backing away from Ciliax's onslaught, suddenly stood his ground. His eyes flickered briefly to where Sarah sat, and in that moment, a look of understanding passed between them. With renewed vigor, Zix began to move in ways that seemed to defy the expectations of everyone watching. He flowed around Ciliax's attacks like water, his movements becoming more fluid and unpredictable with each passing second. The crowd fell silent once more, watching in awe as the small human began to turn the tide of the battle. Zix was no longer simply defending. He was attacking with precision and creativity that left Ciliax reeling. In a move that drew gasps from the audience, Zix feinted to one side, then used Ciliax's own tail as a springboard to launch himself into the air. As he descended, he struck with pinpoint accuracy at a cluster of nerve endings near the creature's head, causing Ciliax to convulse and collapse. The match was over, and once again, Zix stood victorious. The arena erupted into a mixture of cheers, boos, and confused murmuring. No one quite knew how to react to this unprecedented display of skill from a species many had dismissed as weak and insignificant. As medical droids attended to Ciliax, Zix made his way back to the contestants' area. His eyes met Sarah's once more, and he gave a small nod of gratitude. Whatever silent message had passed between them during the match had clearly made a difference. In the aftermath of the fight, the alien spectators and officials found themselves reevaluating everything they thought they knew about humans. Discussions broke out everywhere, with theories and speculations flying back and forth. Did you see how he moved? It was like he knew exactly where to strike. These humans, they're more dangerous than we realized. Ambassador Xarlock's earlier smugness had vanished, replaced by a deep furrow in his scaled brow. He turned to his aide, his voice low and urgent. Contact the homeworld immediately. We need to update our intelligence on Earth and its inhabitants. If they all have this potential. He left the thought unfinished, but the implication was clear. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was at the center of it all. As the day's matches came to an end, Sarah made her way down to meet with Zix. The crowd parted before her, a mix of fear and respect evident in their reactions. When she reached Zix, she placed a hand on his shoulder, a gesture that spoke volumes to those watching. "Well done," she said simply, her voice carrying clearly in the now quiet arena. Zix nodded, his expression serious. "Thank you, Captain. But this is just the beginning, isn't it?" Sarah's eyes scanned the alien faces surrounding them, noting the myriad emotions playing across features both familiar and utterly alien. "Yes," she replied, a hint of a smile playing at her lips. "The real challenge starts now. Are you ready?" Zix straightened, standing tall despite his small stature. "Ready as I'll ever be." For Earth. As Human and Protégé left the arena together, the watching aliens knew they were witnessing the dawn of a new era in galactic politics. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be the same again. Allies in training. The days following Zix's second victory were a whirlwind of activity. The tournament had entered a brief recess, allowing contestants to rest and prepare for the more grueling challenges ahead. For Zix and Sarah, this meant intensive training sessions that drew curious onlookers from across the galaxy. In a secluded courtyard adjacent to the main arena, Zix and Sarah moved in perfect synchronization, their bodies flowing through complex forms that seemed to defy the very laws of physics. Alien spectators watched from a distance, their expressions a mix of awe and unease. Again, Sarah commanded, her voice firm but encouraging. "Remember, Zix, in the battles to come, you'll face opponents with abilities we can't even imagine. You must be ready for anything." Zix nodded, sweat glistening on his brow as he reset his stance. "Yes, Captain. I understand." As they continued their training, a commotion at the edge of the courtyard drew their attention. A group of alien contestants had gathered, their eyes fixed on the two humans with a mixture of curiosity and hostility. At the forefront stood Krellix, a towering insectoid warrior from the hive world of Tarzith Prime. His compound eyes glittered with intelligence and barely concealed disdain. "So," Krellix chittered, his translator struggling to convey the subtle harmonics of his native language. "These are the humans who have caused such a stir. I expected more." Sarah stepped forward, her posture relaxed but alert. "Is there something we can help you with?" Krellix of Tarzith Prime. The insectoid's antennae twitched in surprise. "You know of me. I make it a point to know all the major contenders in this tournament." Sarah replied smoothly. "Your reputation precedes you." Krellix's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "As does yours, it seems, Captain Chen. Tell me, why does a warrior of your apparent caliber not compete yourself?" Sarah's lips quirked in a small smile. "My role here is different. I'm here to guide, to teach. Zix is the future of humanity's place in the galaxy." This statement caused a ripple of murmurs among the gathered aliens. The idea that humans were thinking so far ahead, planning their galactic integration with such foresight, was unsettling to many. Krellix stepped closer, towering over Sarah. To her credit, she didn't flinch, meeting his compound gaze steadily. "Perhaps," the insectoid warrior said slowly, "we have all underestimated your kind. A mistake we shall not repeat." With that, Krellix turned to leave, but paused, looking back at Zix. "I look forward to our eventual match, small one. I hope you provide a worthy challenge." As the group of aliens dispersed, Sarah turned to Zix, her expression serious. You see, every interaction is a form of combat here. Words, gestures, even silence, all can be weapons or shields. Zix nodded, his young face etched with determination. I'm beginning to understand, Captain. But do you really think I'm ready to face beings like Krelix? He's so much more experienced, so much stronger. Sarah's expression softened slightly. Zix, strength isn't just about physical power. It's about adaptability, creativity, and the will to push beyond your limits. These are traits humanity has in abundance. It's time we showed the galaxy what we're truly capable of. As they resumed their training, they were unaware of another set of eyes watching them intently. In the shadows of a nearby building, a slender figure observed with great interest. Lurael, a Zephyrian diplomat known for her keen insight and strategic mind, had been following the humans' progress with growing fascination. Unlike many of her fellow aliens, Lurael saw the potential benefits of an alliance with these newcomers to the galactic stage. She made a mental note to arrange a meeting with Captain Chen at the earliest opportunity. As the day wore on, news of the humans' training session spread throughout the tournament grounds. Speculation ran rampant about the techniques they were developing and the strategies they might employ in the coming matches. In the Galactic Federation's temporary headquarters on Zenith 9, urgent meetings were being held. Holographic projections of leaders from across the galaxy flickered in and out of existence as they debated the implications of humanity's surprising performance. "We cannot ignore this any longer," declared Archconsul Vexalia of the Androndan Conclave. "These humans have shown a level of adaptability and martial skill that far exceeds our initial assessments. We must reevaluate their status within the Federation." Ambassador Exarlock, still smarting from the upset of his earlier predictions, interjected, "Let us not be too hasty. 2 victories, impressive as they may be, do not necessarily indicate a species-wide trait. Perhaps this Zix is an anomaly." "And what of their mentor, this Captain Chen?" countered Lurael, who had managed to secure a place in the meeting. "From what I've observed, she possesses skills that may even surpass those of her protege. I believe we would be wise to consider closer ties with Earth." The debate raged on, with factions forming both for and against the idea of elevating humanity's status. Unbeknownst to the participants, their conversation was being monitored by an unlikely duo. In a hidden alcove, not far from the Federation's headquarters, Zix and Sarah huddled over a small holographic display. The device, a marvel of human engineering, was capable of intercepting and decrypting even the most secure alien transmissions. "You see, Zix," Sarah whispered, her eyes never leaving the flickering images of the alien leaders. "This is the true battlefield. The matches in the arena are important, yes, but it's here, in these debates and discussions, that the future of our species will be decided." Zix nodded, his young mind working to process the complex political maneuvering he was witnessing. "I understand, Captain, but how can my performance in the tournament influence these decisions?" Sarah's eyes gleamed with pride and determination. "Every victory you achieve, every display of skill and honor, forces them to reconsider their preconceptions about humanity. We're not just fighting for a tournament title, Zix. We're fighting for our place among the stars." As they continued to listen, Lurael's voice rose above the others, proposing a bold plan. "I suggest we arrange a cultural exchange," the Zephyrian diplomat announced. "Let us invite a delegation from Earth to share their knowledge, their art, their philosophies. In return, we can offer insights into galactic society that may help ease their integration." The proposal was met with a mixture of skepticism and cautious interest. As the debate continued, Sarah turned to Zix, a slow smile spreading across her face. "Now that," she said, "is an opportunity we can't afford to miss. Come, we have much to prepare for. The next phase of our mission is about to begin." As they slipped away from their hiding spot, the gravity of their situation settled over them. They were not just participants in a tournament. They were the vanguard of humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage. The choices they made, the alliances they formed, and the impressions they left would shape the future of Earth's relationships with countless alien civilizations. Zix felt the weight of this responsibility settle on his young shoulders, but rather than feeling burdened, he felt invigorated. With Captain Chen's guidance and the strength he was discovering within himself, he was ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy might throw at him. As they made their way back to their quarters, the twin suns of Zenith 9 began to set, casting long shadows across the alien landscape. In the fading light, the silhouettes of human and prodigy stood tall, two small figures against the vast backdrop of an universe that was only just beginning to understand the potential of humanity. The next day would bring new challenges, new opportunities, and perhaps new allies. But for now, Zix and Sarah focused on their immediate goals: rest, recovery, and preparation for the battles to come, both in the arena and in the complex web of galactic politics. As night fell on Zenith 9, the rest of the galaxy watched and waited, sensing that a new era was dawning. Humanity had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again. The grand tournament begins. The day of the tournament's main event arrived, bringing with it a palpable sense of excitement and tension that permeated every corner of Zenith 9. The grand arena, a marvel of alien architecture that seemed to defy the laws of physics, loomed over the landscape, its energy shields shimmering in the early morning light. Inside, the atmosphere was electric. Beams from every corner of the galaxy packed the stands, their diverse forms creating a tapestry of colors, textures, and sounds. The air buzzed with the hum of countless translator devices as spectators debated the odds and speculated on the outcomes of the coming matches. In the contestants' preparation area, Zix stood quietly, his eyes closed in concentration. Despite the cacophony around him, he appeared calm, centered. Nearby, Sarah watched her protege with a mixture of pride and concern. "Remember your training," she said softly, her voice barely audible above the din. "Trust in yourself and in the strength of humanity." Zix opened his eyes, meeting his mentor's gaze. "I won't let you down, Captain. I won't let Earth down." As they spoke, a hush fell over the preparation area. The cause soon became apparent as Krelix, the imposing insectoid warrior, approached. His chitinous armor gleamed under the harsh lights, and his compound eyes seemed to take in everything at once. "Human," Krelix clicked, addressing Zix. "I wish you good fortune in the battles to come. May the strongest prevail." The words, formal and stilted through the translator, nevertheless carried a weight of respect that surprised many of the onlookers. Zix bowed slightly, a gesture of acknowledgement that transcended species barriers. "Thank you, Krelix of Xarzith Prime," he replied. "May we both bring honor to our peoples." As Krelix moved away, Sarah raised an eyebrow. "You've made an impression," she murmured. "That's good. Respect can be as powerful a tool as any physical ability." Before Zix could respond, a thunderous sound echoed through the arena. The tournament was about to begin. The contestants filed into the main arena, each greeted by cheers or jeers from the crowd, depending on their popularity and reputation. When Zix emerged, the reaction was mixed. Some cheered for the underdog who had surprised them all, while others booed the upstart who dared to challenge the established order. High above the arena floor, in a luxurious private box, the most influential members of the Galactic Federation watched with keen interest. Ambassador Xarlock leaned forward, his scaled fingers teepled before him. "This will be the true test," he hissed to his aide. "If the human falls here, we can dismiss their earlier victories as mere flukes." Beside him, Lyrael, the Zephyrian diplomat, allowed herself a small smile. "And if he succeeds?" she asked, her gossamer wings shimmering with barely contained excitement. Xarlock's eyes narrowed. "Then, my dear, we may all need to reevaluate our places in this galaxy." The first match of the day pitted Zix against a warrior from the gas giant Jovia 6, a being of living plasma contained within a high-tech environmental suit. The Jovian's attacks were swift and unpredictable, bolts of energy coursing across the arena with deadly precision. Zix dodged and weaved, his small size and incredible agility allowing him to avoid the worst of the assault. But he couldn't dodge forever, and the crowd watched in tense silence as he sought an opening. In the observer's box, Sarah leaned forward, her knuckles white, as she gripped the railing. "Come on, Zix," she whispered. "Remember your training. Find the pattern." As if hearing her words, Zix's movements suddenly changed. Instead of merely evading, he began to move in a complex series of steps, each one bringing him closer to his opponent. The Jovian, confused by this new tactic, increased the intensity of its attacks, but to no avail. With a move that drew gasps from the crowd, Zix leaped directly at the Jovian, his hand outstretched. For a moment, it seemed like madness. To touch a being of living plasma would surely mean death. But as his fingers made contact with the environmental suit, a burst of energy sparked between them. The Jovian's form flickered and destabilized, its plasma body momentarily losing cohesion. In that instant of vulnerability, Zix struck again, targeting key points on the suit with precision born of intense study and preparation. The match ended in seconds, with the Jovian suit powering down and the being inside forced to concede. The arena erupted in a mix of cheers and shocked exclamations. Zix had once again defied expectations, showcasing not just physical skill, but a deep understanding of his opponent's weaknesses. As the day progressed, more matches unfolded, each one a spectacle of alien abilities and combat styles. Krelx dominated his fights with brutal efficiency, while other favorites like the ethereal Lumina of the Void Realms and the cybernetically enhanced Mechlord Vex9 advanced through the ranks. But it was Zix who continued to draw the most attention. With each victory, his legend grew. The small human who could stand toe-to-toe with the galaxy's mightiest warriors was becoming a sensation, not just in the arena, but across the countless worlds watching the tournament broadcasts. In between matches, Sarah worked tirelessly, analyzing footage of potential opponents and fine-tuning strategies with Zix. Their preparation was meticulous, leaving nothing to chance. As the quarterfinals approached, tension in the arena reached a fever pitch. The matchups were announced, and a collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Zix would face Krelx in the next round. The insectoid warrior approached Zix in the preparation area, his mandibles clicking in what might have been anticipation or amusement. "It seems fate has brought us together sooner than expected, human," Krelx said. "I look forward to testing your skills personally." Zix nodded, his expression resolute. "As do I, Krelx. May the best warrior win." As Krelx moved away, Sarah placed a hand on Zix's shoulder. "This is it," she said softly. "Everything we've worked for comes down to this. Are you ready?" Zix took a deep breath, centering himself. "I'm ready, Captain. For Earth, for humanity, and for our future in this galaxy." High above, in the Federation's private box, the alien leaders watched with bated breath. The outcome of this match could very well determine the course of galactic politics for centuries to come. Ambassador Xarloc's eyes narrowed as he studied the two contestants. "This will be interesting," he mused. Luriel nodded in agreement, her wings shimmering with excitement. "Indeed, no matter the outcome, I believe we are witnessing history in the making." As Zix and Krelx made their way to the arena floor, the crowd's roar became deafening. Two of the tournament's most surprising and formidable contestants were about to clash, and no one dared predict the outcome. In that moment, as human and insectoid faced each other beneath the harsh arena lights, the future of humanity's place in the galaxy hung in the balance. The match that would determine so much more than just a tournament victory was about to begin, and the entire galaxy held its breath in anticipation. Triumph of the underdogs. The arena fell into an expectant hush as Zix and Krelx faced each other on the battlefield. The contrast between them could not have been more stark. The small, unassuming human and the towering insectoid warrior, a David and Goliath for the galactic age. In the observer's box, Sarah Chen stood rigid, her eyes fixed on her protege. She had done all she could to prepare him for this moment. Now, it was up to Zix to show the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. The signal to begin the match rang out, reverberating through the arena. Krelx wasted no time, launching into a lightning-fast attack that seemed impossible for a being of his size. His multiple limbs became a blur of motion, each strike precise and devastatingly powerful. Zix, however, was ready. Months of intense training had honed his reflexes to superhuman levels. He dodged and weaved, his movements fluid and economical. Where Krelix was a hurricane of attacks, Zix was water, flowing around each strike with seemingly effortless grace. The crowd watched in awe as the human held his own against the fearsome Exarzith warrior. In the Federation's private box, even the most skeptical alien leaders leaned forward, their attention wholly captured by the spectacle before them. "Remarkable," murmured Arch-Consul Vexalia, her crystalline form shimmering with excitement. "The human's ability to adapt is unlike anything I've seen." Ambassador Tarlock remained silent, his scaled brow furrowed in concentration. The implications of this match were not lost on him. If Zix emerged victorious, it would force a fundamental reassessment of humanity's place in the galactic order. As the battle raged on, it became clear that Krelix's initial strategy wasn't working. Despite his overwhelming strength and speed, he couldn't land a decisive blow on the elusive human. Frustration began to show in the insectoid's movements, his attacks becoming more aggressive, but less controlled. Zix, sensing the shift, began to change his tactics. Instead of merely evading, he started to counterattack, targeting weak points in Krelix's exoskeleton with surgical precision. Each strike was backed by an intimate knowledge of Sarzith physiology, a testament to the meticulous research Sarah and Zix had conducted. In the stands, aliens of all species watched with bated breath. Many who had dismissed humans as weak or insignificant were now reassessing their views. The skill, intelligence, and adaptability displayed by this small human warrior were forcing them to confront their own prejudices. As the match entered its final stages, both contestants showed signs of fatigue. Krelix's movements, while still blindingly fast, had lost some of their earlier precision. Zix, though breathing heavily, maintained his focus, his eyes never leaving his opponent. Then, in a move that would be replayed and analyzed for years to come, Zix feinted to one side, drawing Krelix into an all-out attack. At the last possible moment, the human dropped and rolled, coming up inside the insectoid's guard. With a series of lightning-fast strikes, Zix targeted key nerve clusters in Krelix's abdomen, exploiting a weakness known only to the most skilled xenobiologists. Krelix's legs buckled, his compound eyes widening in shock. The mighty Exarzith warrior fell to his knees, his limbs twitching uncontrollably. The arena fell silent, the audience scarcely believing what they had just witnessed. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then, with a gesture that spoke volumes, Krelix raised one of his functioning limbs in a clear sign of submission. The match was over. Zix had won. The silence shattered as the arena erupted into a cacophony of cheers, roars, and exclamations of disbelief. Zix, panting but standing tall, extended a hand to his fallen opponent. Krelix, after a moment's hesitation, took it, allowing the human to help him to his feet. "You fought with honor and skill, human," Krelix's translator crackled. "My people will speak of this battle for generations to come." Zix bowed his head in respect. "As will mine, Krelix of Tarzith Prime. Your strength and courage are unmatched." As medical drones rushed to attend to both fighters, the implications of what had just occurred began to ripple through the galactic community. In the Federation's box, heated discussions broke out immediately. "This changes everything," Lirael declared, her wings shimmering with excitement. We can no longer ignore the potential of humanity. They must be given a greater voice in galactic affairs. Even Ambassador Xarlock, long skeptical of human capabilities, nodded slowly. "I concur," he said, his voice heavy with the weight of the moment. "The humans have proven themselves worthy adversaries and potentially valuable allies." Down in the arena, Sarah Chen made her way to Zix, her face beaming with pride. As she reached her protege, she didn't say a word. Instead, she simply placed a hand on his shoulder, a gesture that conveyed more than words ever could. Zix looked up at his mentor, exhaustion and exhilaration warring on his face. "We did it, Captain," he said softly. "We showed them what humanity can do." Sarah nodded, her eyes glistening. "You did, Zix. You've opened doors that we never thought possible. The galaxy will never be the same." As they stood there, human mentor and protege, the arena continued to buzz with excitement. News of Zix's victory was already spreading across the galaxy, captured by countless broadcasting devices, and transmitted to every corner of known space. On distant Earth, crowds gathered in streets and plazas, cheering for their champion. The victory was more than just a tournament win. It was a statement to the galaxy. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they were here to stay. In the days that followed, the repercussions of the tournament echoed through every level of galactic society. Diplomatic channels buzzed with activity as species that had long ignored Earth now sought to establish relations. Trade agreements were hastily drafted, cultural exchange programs were proposed, and plans for joint scientific ventures proliferated. Zix, hailed as a hero not just by humans, but by countless alien species, found himself at the center of a whirlwind of activity. He handled it all with the same quiet determination that had seen him through the tournament, always quick to deflect praise to his team, his mentor, and to humanity as a whole. Sarah Chen, recognized for her role in Earth's triumph, was offered a prestigious position on the Galactic Federation's newly formed Human Integration Committee. Her insights and experience would prove invaluable in the years to come as humanity took its place among the stars. As for the galaxy at large, the tournament had served as a wake-up call. Species that had long dominated galactic affairs found themselves reevaluating their positions. The humans, with their adaptability, creativity, and indomitable spirit, had proven that size and technological advancement weren't everything. A new era of cooperation and mutual respect began to dawn. Years later, as the first human colonies were established on distant worlds and Earth's influence continued to grow, many would look back on the intergalactic combat tournament as the turning point. It was the moment when a small, underestimated species from a backwater planet had shown the galaxy that they were a force to be reckoned with. And at the heart of it all was Zix, the unlikely champion whose courage and skill had changed the course of galactic history. His story would be told and retold, a testament to the potential that lies within every being, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. As the twin suns of Zenith 9 set on the tournament's final day, casting a warm glow over the now quiet arena, the galaxy looked to the future with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Humanity had made its mark, and the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter, illuminating the endless possibilities that lay ahead.